Hey friends, happy Friday. Last Friday before Christmas. I don't even know where this month went. Does anybody know where December just went? Like I blinked and it was gone. But happy Friday. I'm glad you're here with me. I'm going to be talking this morning about starting or running a business from home while you are at home raising kids. So if this does not apply to you, I bet you know somebody in your world who it applies to. Hi, Rhonda. I love it when you guys say hello. If you'd come on and say hello, that'd be awesome. And if you know somebody with small kiddos who either wants to start a business or is considered starting a business, I want to talk to you today about some excuses that we moms tend to use and just give you some really practical advice on how you can build a business, grow a business, start a business, whatever, while you've got babies at home. Okay, so for anyone who is watching this on a replay and doesn't know who I am, my name's Jennifer Allwood. I own the Magic Brush, which is a decorative painting company in Kansas City. I started my business 16 years ago, and 3 months after I started my business was pregnant with our first kiddo, and I was like, what do I do now? Because how many of you know it's really hard to paint with a belly up to here? And so I teach people how to create a beautiful home and to build a creative business. And this morning I was having my quiet time in the Bible and came across this scripture in Isaiah where it says that God gently leads those with young. Hi, Lisa. I love that in the version of the Bible that I have, which I have sitting right here, by the way, that it says he gently leads those with young, because I can remember we had 3 kids under the age of 6, and our boys were 22 months apart. 2 of our 3 children had colic, and I can remember some of those days during those 6 years of thinking, I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. I'm just going to lose it. I am desperate for adult conversation. If I have to watch Elmo or Nemo or Dory one more time, play the memory game one more time. How many of you mothers will be honest enough to say you know what I'm talking about? I loved staying home with all of our kids. Mr. Magic and I felt very convicted that I was to stay home and raise our children. And I had been working in a corporate America desk job for many, many years, had gotten laid off, decided to start my painting business, and then got pregnant right off the bat. So then we were like, well, now what are we going to do? So I didn't want to give up my painting company. It was doing so well, but I wanted to be home with my kids. So I hired other women to come paint for me. Oh, Christina, 3 kids in 3 years. God bless you. And I stayed home and ran the business from home with my babies. Now, listen, it's difficult enough just having a lot of kids, 3 under the age of 6 at home at any given time. It's even harder when you throw a business into it, but it is possible. Not only is it possible, but I recommend it for a lot of women who have talents and gifts that God gave them. Oh, what's in my smoothie? How can you even see that, MJ? It's spinach. It's spinach and it's almond milk. And it's an apple because Ava ate all of my frozen berries. I'm not happy with it. And so let's talk real quick about how I raised 3 kids and did a business at the same time. And yesterday I filmed my second podcast. That's right, second podcast. And it was on this topic of starting a business from home. I don't know how to run a business without kids under my feet. I don't. I can tell you that having children at home while I ran my business actually was one of the best things that could happen, because it forced me to figure out how to multitask really well. I mean, I can remember, seriously, changing one of my kids' diapers while I was on the phone with the people from Extreme Home Makeover. And I'm not even lying, because I had 3 kids. I did the Extreme Home Makeover house 3 different times in Kansas City. And I can remember thinking, don't cry, shh, 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 don't cry while mommy's taking a really important phone call. It is completely possible to do both, okay? Sometimes I've found, especially in my coaching group where I coach creative women, that on occasion there will be really super talented women who have this great idea for a business. And they will say, but I can't do anything until the kids are in school, because they're trying to self-protect from the fear of actually starting their business. So they use their kids, and I'm saying this with absolute love in my heart for you, as an excuse, as a reason to keep putting it off, okay? I'm going to tell you guys that it doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be I only have a business or I mom my kids through the day. It can be both. The Bible says that God gives us wisdom to gain wealth. He is, I believe, fully supportive of women using their creative talents to make money for their family. If you look at the Bible, you will actually see, it's not just that you get judged. Margona, hang out with different people then. You're hanging out with the wrong people if they're judging you. Okay. First of all, life's too hard to be judging other moms in the first place. If we women can't support each other, like I don't even know what to do with that. Do you know what I mean? And so find some different friends. Is it Margiona? Because you shouldn't be sitting in judgment, or people shouldn't be sitting in judgment of you. There is nothing wrong with me running my painting company while my kids are upstairs napping, because guess what? All kids nap. Guess what? None of them usually go to bed after you. They're all going to bed before you. So instead of wasting your time watching Orange is the New Black and Real Housewives of blah, 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 like seriously, start a stinking business. I mean, it's amazing to me how many creative people that there are who they can find some time and carve out, 20 minutes to paint a piece of furniture or a sign or something while their kids are sleeping, but they don't want to take it to the next level because they're fearful of failing, or maybe what people will think, maybe what their mother-in-law will think, maybe what the moms at PDO will think. Okay, listen, my friends, this is your life we're talking about. This is your future you're talking about. And I am so convinced that God doesn't give us all these amazing, wonderful, gifting talents to just have you like sit it there on a shelf for the next, however many years until your kids go to school. Friends, if I had done that, it would have been 12 years before I started my business. Oh, thank you. One of my inner circle coaching girls just commented. I didn't see who that was, but God bless you for being in here and saying that the group is good. Literally, I would have, because I ran my business for 12 years with children at home with me. Okay, so here's what that looks like. You work your butt off when they nap, and they do nap. And if they don't nap, they need to nap. There are books teaching them how to nap. God bless the napping kids of America, okay? So play dates. I can remember one of my closest girlfriends, Shauna, taking Ava many days so I could get stuff done. I can also remember trying to take her son for her on occasion so that she could get some stuff done. She wasn't necessarily running a business from home, but it's helpful when you just have other kids there to kind of entertain your kids. It's very helpful, okay? I'm reading some notes here, by the way, so that I make sure I hit everything I want to. I'm going to say something that you're gonna, don't hate me for this, okay? I'm speaking the truth right now, and somebody here needs to hear this, okay? Your babies that you're raising right now at home, if you're a stay-at-home mom, they don't need you every second. In fact, I will go as so far as to say you are doing them a disservice if you are entertaining them every minute of the day. Because basically what you're training them to think is that somebody will entertain them all of the time. And that's how kids lose their imaginations. Take a roll of Christmas wrap. Here's an idea for you moms today. Somebody share this. Take a roll of Christmas paper. Flip it over to the back side where it's white. Tape that sucker down on one end of your hallway, run it down to the other end of the hallway, and hand your kids some markers, some crayons, and some pencils, and you go work for a while. And your kids will be absolutely fine. And they will freak out because they're gonna be like, Mom's letting me color on something on the floor. And that's how your kids are forced to entertain themselves a little bit. We mamas have got to quit thinking that the best moms are the ones that are entertaining their children and doing circus acts for them every hour of the day. That's not true. That's not true. Teach your kids how to use their own mind to do some stuff. You don't have to every second of every day be entertaining them. It is also okay. Your kids are too loud. God bless you, Leslie. It is also okay to on occasion say, hey, mommy has to work for a little bit. And I'm not saying put your job or your crafting or your painting or whatever over top of your family. That's not what I'm saying. Hear my heart. I'm saying it's possible, and quit using your kids as an excuse as to why you're not doing it. If you feel like you're supposed to be starting a business, you better be obedient to that. What would have happened if 16 years ago I would never have listened to the prompting of the Lord, who was telling me to say no to that really great corporate job that I was being offered and say yes to something completely unknown. I'm so glad now that I did that. And for those of you who are feeling like God's trying to kind of nudge you into some, entrepreneurship, starting your own business, you better do that. I'm serious. You do not have any idea what's on the other side of your obedience. And so I challenge you today that you could do both. You can be a fantastic, attentive mama, and you can start a business at home. Let me give you one little tip. Turn off your social media. Turn me off right now. Literally, when I was raising my babies, and memento, s'il vous plaît. I have to get in my greens. When I was raising my babies, there was no social media. I was so bored, you guys, that there were days when I couldn't wait for the UPS guy and our mail lady to come just to have a human being that was taller than this to say 2 words to. Can anybody relate? I love my kids fiercely with a passion, but I can distinctly remember one day feeling like, okay, I need to get out of the house for a minute. And my husband had a very demanding job that kept him at the office 11 or 12 hours a day. And I can remember sitting in the driveway because he got home from work and I said, you know what, I got to check out the Target or a thrift store or just drive around the block for a few minutes. And I can remember sitting in my truck and counting up. It had been 8 days since I had been alone without my children. 8 days. 8 days. And I wondered why I felt like I was going to lose my mind. I mean, our job is not to be with them every single second and entertain them every single second, because eventually they're going to leave. They're going to leave. And some of you women, when they leave, part of you leaves with them. And if you have some crafting skill or talent or passion, start it now. You can be a fantastic example to your kiddos. They can watch you build that thing while they're at home. Okay? But turn off your social media. You're going to get sometimes sucked into this vortex of, let me just glance at something on Pinterest, and then 2 hours go by. Okay? In those 2 hours, instead of just perusing what all the other bloggers and business owners and entrepreneurs are doing, do it yourself. Do it yourself. Yes, Allison Griffith, I miss you. We need lunch. We need to meet halfway from Oklahoma City. It is totally possible. So if you're feeling like social media is a total distraction for me, I get sucked into, the Facebook vortex, the Pinterest vortex, whatever, take your cell phone and put it away. Put it away. I tell the girls in my coaching classes all the time, you need to hustle when you have time to work when you have babies. You ain't got no time to be on Pinterest for 2 hours glancing at Christmas tree ideas. I don't even care if it's my Pinterest. And let me tell you something else that's a great plan, okay? I was just sitting here. My mind sometimes is like what are those machines called where you pull back the thing and the ball goes doing, doing, doing? Is it pinball? I think it's pinball. That's what my mind is like. All right, you're ugly crying right now. Bless you, sweet mama. Don't be ugly crying. I just want to encourage you to stop with the excuses and start something. Start something. The hardest part is starting. Okay, you are not doing your family a disservice. Imagine what would happen if you could bring in an extra $500 to your family every month by painting a few pieces of furniture, making a few crafts or something. Imagine if you could double that. What would, yes, pinball. Did I say ping ball? Ooh. And thank you, Stacy, for saying to join that inner circle. I appreciate it. My coaching group is at themagicbrushinc.com/inner circle. It's $47 a month. That's the cost of Applebee's. I don't want any excuses as to why people can't afford that. That is so inexpensive for the amount of information you're getting. Okay, so what was I going to say? Oh, the library. Okay, the library. Kids need to read. Kids need to go to the library. This is one of my secret tricks that I tell the girls in my coaching class. When I have something super major that I have to do, right now we're getting ready to roll out an entire new coaching program for next year. So what am I going to do next week? I'm going to take my handy dandy little notebooks and I'm going to go to the public library. You want to know why? It's quiet. My cell phone doesn't work for jack crap and nothing in there. And I'm forced to just sit alone with my thoughts. But what I used to do when Ava was still home with me is I would take Ava to the library because, hello, she needs to read. Because eventually I want her to be out of the home. I don't want my kids still living here not reading when they're 40. And so take your kids to the library and sit down and bust out some work. For some of you, that means just starting your first business Facebook page. For some of you, that means going through and listing out, okay, I have this idea for a business. I don't even know where to start. Write down a possible name. Write down a possible name of a Facebook page, a possible name of a website. Who do you know that could make you a website? Who do you know that could help you get the name registered with the state? Do you have an accountant? Make a to-do list. I need to call an accountant. I need to call somebody that can make a graphic for me. Dun, 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 dun. You mamas have more time than you think that you do. And so if you can turn off the social media and if you can hustle when your kids are in bed. Here's what I used to do. Babies would be in bed by 8 o'clock, 8:30 at night. I would be on my behind in the office blogging. I have blogged for 10 years consistently. Blogging. Tammy Graves, can you pay for the whole year? No, it's on a month-by-month basis. I should make that an option. Oh, let me write that down. And memento. If you pay for a year in advance, you get a discount. You are insanely smart. Who was that just said that? She needs to start a business. She needs to start a business. So when the kids would go to bed, I wouldn't just sit there and watch. What did I even watch back then? Not MASH. What was on? Not Knots Landing. This would have been 15 years ago. What was on in 15 years ago? Friends? Friends. Monica and Rachel, they were on. So I didn't just sit in TV and veg. I was working even back then. For any of you who are looking at my business and thinking, wow, her business has just blown up. Okay, it has blown up in the last 4 years because in the last 4 years, my kids are finally all in school. It's not that I was wishing that time away with them. It's that I was saying, okay, Lord, I'm committed to staying home and raising our babies while I feel like that's what you want me to do. But I also felt, okay, Lord, but you would not have given me all this business sense and all these skills in DIYing and things if you didn't want me to use it. And when I look at Proverbs 31, let me just get out my Bible because it's right here, my friends. Okay, listen to this for some of you moms who feel judged. Are you ready? Okay, hang on. Okay, the Proverbs 31 woman, it says, she selects wool and flax and she works with her hands. That's right, she DIY'd. She DIY'd, okay? She is like the merchant ship. She brings her food from afar. She gets up while it's dark and provides food for her family, okay? I don't know that that's necessarily meaning she's going to the grocery store, okay? She's doing creative, businessy things. I think she had a garden. I think she was Martha Stewart. She considers a field and she buys it because she's a businesswoman. This is the Bible. This is the Bible. This is the Bible. So when your kids are sleeping, work on something. I got a little passionate there. Sorry, friends. I'm an early bird, so my kids often would sleep in a little bit. Sorry, Catherine. They would sleep in a little bit. I would get up before them and have some quiet time where I could work on my business. So for 12 years, I did this. When my kids were old enough to do a mom's day out, I put them in a mom's day out for 6 hours a week, and I hustled my butt off for 6 hours a week. And I built my business when Ava, okay, so for 12 years, the kids were at home. In that 12th year, I had 8 women working for me sometimes, you guys, 8 women. Here's what, if you're committed to staying home, you will learn how to absolutely hustle and do your time management way better than anybody who doesn't have kids. And you will learn to delegate and you will learn to focus on what matters and ignore the rest of the BS, because a lot of it's BS. And there you have it. So when your kids then go to school, you will have ramped up. I ramped up for 12 years. And so if it looks like, you know, oh, she's got so many people on her Facebook page and she's an overnight success, heck to the no. I busted my butt for 12 years wiping bottoms while I was sending out faxes. I mean, I literally did it for 12 years. Yes, Lisa, drop the mic. So I want to encourage you, if this is not for you, please share this with some sweet, talented woman who is home today feeling like, I'm going to lose my mind if this sweet, precious baby of mine wants to play hide and go seek one more time or vomits one more time or, you know, our children are precious and they're the greatest gift here on earth that God can give us. And I love being a mom with everything in me. But we have to quit feeling guilty for also having a passion to do something creative at the same time, because you can do both. And for many of you, I believe that God has called you to do both. Sometimes we use our kids as an excuse to not start something because we're scared. And if you're scared, I encourage you to find somebody who will mentor you through the process of starting a business. It's not that scary after you take the first step. The first step is by far the scariest. So, and for those who asked, somebody asked about my coaching program, go to my website, themagicbrushinc.com/inner circle, or just search for Inner Circle on there and you'll find it. You're welcome, Annie. I want to be an encouragement to you. When I saw that my post on Facebook this morning, that so many people had responded to it, it just took me back to that day, or that period of life where I just felt really lonely. My kids were home and I was working, and I didn't know a lot of other stay-at-home working moms. And it felt like a lonely place. I felt misunderstood. There were times, yes, that I felt like nobody gets what I'm doing. There were some times when I felt judged, and I also just had to back off certain people that didn't get my life. But for some of you, you are so talented, and I'm preaching to somebody right now. So somebody write this down, because note takers are history makers. Somebody on here, I believe, is so stinking talented at what they do. Whether that's making jewelry, making wreaths, painting furniture, painting cabinets, decorating, DIYing, repurposing. You are so talented that if you would just start a business, you could change the whole financial trajectory of your family in the next few years. I have got women in my coaching program whose husbands are quitting their job and coming home to working with them on their crafting business. And Kim, you know what? I don't do any PMing. Bless your heart. You can send me an email, or you can join one of my groups, and you have full access to me there all month long. So, hey, thanks, Anne-Marie. Bless you guys. So here's what my Friday looks like. I'm getting ready to go have lunch with a friend. I worked my butt off this morning. I hustled. So I'm getting ready to have lunch with a friend, and then I'm going to swim laps with a friend later on, and I can't wait. And so that's what my Friday looks like. I hope you guys have an awesome, awesome day. Bless you for being here. Please let me know if this spoke to your heart at all. And if so, I'll talk more about this in the future. And I'll let you guys know as soon as that podcast comes out. Yay! I'm so glad, Kathy, I was talking to you. And thank you, Danielle Rowe, for saying Inner Circle Rocks. I'm so glad you're there. You have such an amazing future ahead of you. And so, yeah, if this is something that blessed you at all, just let me know in the comments, because it helps me to know where I can help you most. My heart is so for women and for small business owning women, especially the ones who just need a little bit of direction and they just need a little bit of motivation. I want to be a courage granter, and I want to just really encourage those of you. Yes, Catherine, you can be in there if you're a blogger wannabe. I am not a blogging expert, but I have blogged for 10 years. So I do know a thing or two about blogging. So bless you guys, okay? All right, well, have a great rest of your day, and we'll chat soon.